When you see it from afar, it resembles a battleship, but in reality, it's a city left in ruins. At one time, over 5,000 people lived here, making it the most crowded city in Japan and the world. The apartments, now in ruins, still hold household items left behind by the residents. It appears as though everyone left without taking anything. Schools that once echoed with children's voices now stand silent. The city had all the usual facilities like hospitals, town halls, swimming pools, shops, and cinemas. Today, it's a deserted ghost town. But why? Why has no one lived here for 35 years? What happened that led Japan to prohibit anyone from going there? Welcome to another intriguing video from the Golden Mindset. This island, called Hashima, is situated 15 kilometers from Nagasaki in Japan, right in the South China Sea. Due to its resemblance to a battleship, it's also known as Battleship Island. In this sea area, there are about 500 islands with no population, but the story of Hashima is unique. Unlike other green and dense islands in the vicinity, Hashima is a single rock rising from the sea with minimal vegetation. In its heyday, Hashima played a crucial role in Japan's economy thanks to coal mining. In the past 150 years, approximately 16,500,000 tons of coal were extracted from the seabed around this island. This amount of coal can generate electricity to power a country like India for 1 month and for 10 months for a country like Pakistan. Back in the 1800s, coal was discovered on the ground in Takashima, an island near Hashima. Initially, the locals were unaware of the benefits of coal. It was only later, when a man named Koita accidentally discovered its heating properties, that people on Takashima Island began collecting all the coal they could find on the island to heat their homes. By 1850, Nagasaki had transformed into an international shipping port, serving as a vital stop for cargo sailing ships traveling between America and China. During this period, Western countries such as Great Britain and the USA were replacing their sailing ships with steam engines. The essential fuel for these steam-powered ships was coal. When these ships docked at Nagasaki Port, they needed coal for refueling, and this coal was sourced from Takashima Island. With the growing demand for coal, the people of Takashima Island began digging for more. Over time, the surface coal on Takashima was depleted, leading them to explore the surrounding islands in search of more coal. Hashima was one of those islands rich in coal resources. During that era, traditional methods, known as old-school techniques, were used to extract coal from the land surface. Primarily, hands and shovels were employed for coal excavation. However, as the demand increased, manual labor alone couldn't meet the requirements. In the 19th century, Mitsubishi Corporation purchased Hashima Island. At that time, Mitsubishi was a shipping company, and they decided to initiate proper coal mining on the island. Mitsubishi built homes for the coal workers and constructed a seawall to shield the island from rough sea waves. This is why the island resembles a ship today. In 1916, there were 3,000 workers residing on Hashima, extracting 150 tons of coal in a year. Due to its small size, there was limited space for residence or housing construction. Therefore, Mitsubishi built concrete residential complexes to accommodate more workers comfortably with their families. At that time, these were the largest concrete buildings in Japan, although still relatively small for the workers' needs. As the worker population continued to grow, more concrete buildings were constructed, including schools for workers' children and entertainment centers. By 1941, the annual coal production on Hashima Island reached 410,000 tons and was increasing daily. In 1959, the total population of the island was 5,200, occupying an area of 15.5 acres. With a simple calculation, there were 335 people staying in 1 acre on average. This dense population was unprecedented in any city worldwide at that time. Today, the average population in China is 84 people per acre, whereas in Hashima Island back then, it was 335 people per acre. Workers who resided there recall that each room was shared by 3 workers, with space for only 2 to sleep. The third worker had to sleep in the cupboard. Now let's talk about the coal mine. It was excavated 1 kilometer below the surface of Hashima Island, where the temperature reached 35 degrees Celsius, and the humidity was as high as 95%. Working in these challenging conditions, the workers were constantly exposed to dangers, and unfortunately, many lost their lives in the coal mines of Hashima Island. During World War II, Japanese authorities compelled Chinese and Korean prisoners to work in the Hashima coal mines, a move criticized by the world to this day. Following the fall of the Japanese Empire after World War II, efforts were made to improve Japan's image. Facilities such as cinemas, high schools, gymnasiums, and entertainment centers were established on Hashima Island for the workers. These amenities were provided free of charge, and in return, workers contributed their services to maintain the island. Fresh drinking water was initially brought from mainland Japan, and later, water lines were laid in the sea connecting to mainland Japan. By 1960, Hashima Island reached its peak, contributing significantly to the Japanese economy. However, this was also the time when the decline of coal usage began with the diminishing popularity of coal. As coal was deemed hazardous for human health with environmental impacts, oil began to replace coal as the primary source of energy. Consequently, the global demand for coal started to decline, leading to the gradual closure of coal mines. Mining in Hashima Island was always challenging due to its isolation from the mainland, and it frequently faced tsunamis and sea storms. Despite having a protective wall around the island, it often broke due to the force of the sea storm waves, incurring additional expenses for wall repairs. Due to these reasons, Hashima coal mines ceased to be profitable. In 1970, Mitsubishi laid off 2,000 workers from Hashima mines or transferred them to other projects. Finally, on January 15, 1974, the company officially announced the closure of Hashima mine. Overnight, thousands of workers left Hashima Island due to unemployment. In the history of Hashima, an entire generation had grown up there, leaving their memories on the island as they moved away. Today, Hashima Island stands forgotten, abandoned, and in ruins in the South China Sea. The government had sealed the island for many years, and anyone violating this rule faced severe punishment. Some argued that Japan aimed to conceal the truth of forced labor camps from the world, leading to the island's closure. However, Japan stated that the rule was enforced to prevent theft from the island. In 2009, Japan proposed the inclusion of Hashima Island in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. However, the governments of South Korea, North Korea, and China strongly opposed this move, expressing concern for the survivors who had been forcibly made to work in the mine. Ultimately, a compromise was reached, with the opposing nations asking Japan to acknowledge the forced labor in 1940 and include it in the details of the World Heritage Site. We hope you've enjoyed this video, and we encourage you to share it with your friends. Take good care of yourself and stay tuned for our upcoming videos. Until next time, cultivate and embrace a golden mindset.